Hi everyone, my name is Thomas Kim. Today is April 30th, 2019. Unresolved external symbol. Please double click this link. Mr. Fizzy Gaming. But what if I want to define like HelloWorld function in another CPP file? In this situation, what can I do to resolve unresolved external symbol error? I learned C++ language over 30 years ago. So I forgot what I have struggled with. Mr. Fizzy reminded me one of the challenges I faced back in 30 years ago. Unresolved external symbol error is one of the most common errors that beginners of C and C++ language get all the time. So this is one of the most common and challenging error for C and C++ beginners. Mr. Fizzy, thank you again because you left such a wonderful question. Your question reminds me of my initial years of C++ language. To understand this problem, unresolved external symbol, or how to use multiple header files and C or CPP files, we need to have some concrete understanding about a few things like this. First, we have to understand the building process. First stage is preprocessing stage, then compiling stage, then linking stage. Then we can have executables such as exe or dll. I will not talk about the building process in this episode. Second, we have to have concrete understanding about the declaration, definition, and declaration, definition. In such case, we need to understand the storage specifiers such as extern or static. Third, we need to have understanding about the header file and the source file. Header file has extension .h or hpp or .hxx, etc., etc. And the source file has extension .c or cpp or .cxx, etc. These terms, header file or source file, these are colloquial terms. Technically speaking, we have to say interface file instead of header file and implementation file instead of source file. Both .h and .cpp are source files or source code files. For header files contain information about types in case of non-template types or functions, whereas source files .c or .cpp contains code that instructs C and C++ compiler to reserve memory. 5. We also need to understand what is translation unit. In the .c or .cpp files, we can find preprocessor directives such as include standard header file .h, include custom header file .h. This is preprocessor directive. This is also preprocessor directive. At preprocessing stage, I talked about the preprocessing stage here. The CPP or C preprocessor collects all include files and merge them together and replace or expand the macros and generate a translation unit. I will not talk about translation unit much in this episode, but I will deal about translation unit in some future sessions. In this episode, we will create two CPP files, driver cpp, subroutine cpp, and one custom header file subroutine h. Both driver cpp and subroutine cpp include subroutine.h. In driver cpp include subroutine.h. Also in subroutine cpp include subroutine h. Without further ado, let's get started. If you haven't installed Visual C++, then please double-click this link. Please watch this video to install Visual Studio 2019 and also to create this command line prompt. Please watch this video. Start your File Explorer and create a folder in your D drive, in my case, multiple files. Create a folder named multiple files, double click it, copy the folder path, then right click your command prompt. We created this command prompt in our previous episode. Right click your command prompt once again, properties, in starting path here, Ctrl A, select all, Ctrl V, then click OK. Then start your Visual Studio Code. We also installed this tool in our previous episode. Go to File, open folder, paste the folder path, select folder. So multiple files folder is listed here in the Explorer. If you cannot see this Explorer, go to View, click Explorer or Ctrl-Shift-E. Here, click this button, Driver, CPP, create another file, subroutine cpp, create another file, subroutine h. Okay, so we created driver cpp, subroutine cpp, subroutine h. Ctrl B. Okay, press Ctrl B. If you want to display Explorer again, Ctrl V again. Ctrl V toggles. This is Explorer. You can hide or show Explorer tab, Explorer pane by pressing Ctrl B or Ctrl V again. We can show or hide Explorer pane. This is Explorer pane by pressing Ctrl V. Now here we are in subroutine header file. Go to View, Editor Layout, three columns. Okay, now we have three columns. I will press Ctrl V. Then I can drag like this. And I will drag subroutine here. Now in this file, I declare a function int_sum, int_a, int_b. This is header file, subroutine header file, and I create another function, say void say hello, like this. These are header files, function headers. Okay, I will copy them to here. Please note that it should end with a semicolon here. like this. I define function body here, return a plus b, here std cout, say hello to my audience. Like this, std and there. Okay, now I will here in subroutine I will include IO stream. Then here I include subroutine.h. So in CPP file, I included subroutine.h, this header file. I will copy this header file here too. This is driver, int main, say hello. I call this function and std cout sum of 1 and 2. We call this function sum 1, 2. Then std and there. So this is CPP file. This is CPP file. CPP file include header files like this. This defines or resolves. This CPP file defines function sum and say hello function. Okay, the CPP file reserves memory for our program. This is the header file. The header file declares the type information. This is called function header or function signature. This is another function header or function signature. Function header or function signature informs the C++ compiler about the memory layout information. The function body instructs the C++ compiler to reserve the memory. Function header or function signature is type of the sum, int, and it returns int. This is type of this sum function. In this case, the type of say hello is void say hello this. So function header or signature informs the C++ compiler of the type of that function. I hope you understand this concept. So the header file contains type information. The CPP file reserves memory. It reserves memory. This sum has function body and it reserves memory at compile time. And this is also CPP file. This is a function. It reserves memory for function main. In this driver CPP file, the function int main instructs the C++ compiler reserve memory for int main. I hope you understand this concept. Now let's open command prompt. dir. So we have three files here: driver CPP, subroutine CPP. We do not compile subroutine H. We do not compile header files separately. Header files should not include any code that instructs C++ compiler to reserve memory. The header files should only include type informations. So now let's compile. CL is Microsoft compiler. EHSC, this is C. Compile only switch. We can compile separately like this. We compiled driver CPP. Compilation was successful. We compiled only driver CPP. Then driver OBJ is created. Now we compile once again. EHSC. C means compile only. Subroutine CPP. Okay. Then we generated subroutine OBJ. Subroutine driver OBJ. Subroutine OBJ. Now we build like this. We link together. Then EHSC driver OBJ subroutine OBJ. Now we define FE. FE means file executable. Executable file name. Multi files exe. Now multi files exe is created. dir multi files exe. So say hello to my audience. Sum of 1 and 2 is 3. It created. Okay. Now I will delete all exe file and all obj file, object file. Then we can compile in one sequence like this. CL EHSC driver CPP subroutine CPP FE multi-file exe. Okay, please note that we do not include header file.h in this compilation command. We compile only CPP files because this header file is included in preprocessing stage. Now hit enter. Multi-file exe. Okay, it works successfully. Now let's think about unresolved external. Now I disable this part in CPP subroutine. Ctrl K, Ctrl C to comment out. Here I delete all OBJ file again. Delete all exe files. Now I compile separately once again. CL EHSC compile only driver CPP. It compiles successfully. Okay, note that we disabled the sum in CPP source file. Now we compile subroutine CPP. It also compiles successfully. dir obj. We combined two object file obj are created. Now we link together cl ehsc driver obj subroutine obj fe failed exe. We now have unresolved external symbol decl sum referenced in function main. When in function main, when we reference sum, the sum is declared in subroutine. Okay, this sum driver includes subroutine.h, but it is defined, so it compiles successfully. But when we link, this is declared here, but it does not have a memory. In subroutine.cpp we disabled, so linker cannot find the memory reserved memory address. It is not actual address, but quasi address or pseudo address. So the memory layout is not instructed to reserve. So we have this unresolved external symbol. If we enable it, Ctrl KU, and if we compile only subroutine again, it compiles. Note that we haven't compiled this driver CPP again, and we link again. Now it succeed. Success. exe. Now it's success. Okay, now we succeeded in building because this memory is reserved in CPP file. Another common problem we face is I copy this and paste it again here. Now let's try again like this. If we compile subroutine, we have function sum has already a body. Okay, this is already defined. We cannot reserve memory for function in header files like this. So I have to disable it. Ctrl KC. We should not contain any code that reserve memory in the header files. Another common mistake is redefinition. Okay, I will define here int an int, and I will copy it. Here, I will initialize it to 5. Okay. Now here, in this function, std cout value of an int. std and then now let's build this function, this program. I open the command line. I will build all files just one sequence. ehsc driver cpp subroutine cpp fe failed exe. Now see redefinition. Subroutine 11. This is subroutine 11. An int redefinition. Note C declaration an int in subroutine H 14. So this is not actually declaration, this is definition. If we want to make it declaration, then we have to use extern, like this. Now let's build once again. It succeeded. I will say okay now. Now it works successfully. Now if you initialize value, for example 6, now let's see what happens. Now we see multiple initialization, redefinition. If we initialize again, then it becomes definition. Okay, so if we want to declare, we should not initialize. If we want to declare without definition, we should not initialize. And we should use keyword extern. About static, I will talk in some other few sessions. So this is proper way to declare extern int, no initialization here. This is declaration only. Now let's build. Finally, multi-file journey. Okay, multi-file journey. If you still do not understand, please leave your comments and questions. I will try to answer as soon as possible, as detailed as possible. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.